Hi everyone, my name is Abel Gray Cantoma from GREYTEST Design Consults. This is my WhatsApp contact. You can reach me on this number, call me on any of these numbers, okay? Today I'm excited to let you know that Prota Structure 2025 has been released, okay? As you can see, this is Prota Structure 2025. I was able to use this particular version to come about this space truss. Like you can't get this space truss on any previous version. There is no way you can come about a space truss like this on the previous version. You can see this is a castellated beam and it's curved. But you can see you can't achieve a castellated beam on any of the previous version. We will be demonstrating what you can actually achieve with Prota Structure 2025. Although there are some similar features it shares with the 2024, but as for space truss, you can't find it. You cannot also find this castellated beam and some other features that I will demonstrate as we progress. Okay, so let's jump right into it. All right, as you can see, this here has been changed. You can see we have Brazil, Colombia. The very interesting one is the Ghana BS code. I'm really excited about this for the Ghanaians, most especially. BS code for Ghana is actually very much available here in Prota Structure 2025. That's very interesting. Okay, so I will be using the BS code, and I can name these Prota training or training 2025, and I'll click on OK. Okay, let's allow it to load. All right, so we are here. I will come to my modeling tab. I'm sure most people are familiar with this. I will click on the orthogonal axis generator, and I will leave this as it is, or let me increase this and make this 4 along this line, and make it 4 as well, and I click on OK. All right, so I will pick on my column. Let's say I'm having 450 by 300. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me just add one by this side. F2 5 factors. Stretch this. Okay, so I'm going to make this up to, let's say, 7 stories. Yes. And then the story for this, I will make it 5 meters. Go back to story 1. I'll come to my views, right click on 3D physical. Come here, use the type vertical. Okay, so let's say this is what we have, for example, and here now let's have and take out this. I'll use my wall. So if you notice, these walls are all separate. They're all separated. They're not together. So I can merge them together. I select all of this. I can actually merge these walls. Right. So if I click on this wall, it brings out all the necessary informations on wall. So I can match these together. Okay. I know it's still looking more like the versions that you are familiar with. But we are getting to that part where it's going to be more interesting for you. Okay. Highlight this. So I did not even specify the width of my beams. I'm going to change them anyway. I will change the properties, like the depth, the cross section specifically. Actually, you can see this one has a coupling beam. Mostly coupling beams are used to for shear walls around the shear walls. So this is the property I would like to use. Hold on shift, go to the properties of this, select this, All right, so we are here. I think we need a beam here. Mind you, the purpose of this video is to demonstrate what you can actually achieve with 2025 version of your Prota structure. I was able to do an entire overview of the 2024 version of Prota structure. So this is 2025. So we are going to be having a proper overview of what we can achieve with the 2025 version of Prota structure. Okay, so if you look at this, you can see the loading combination editor here is looking a bit different from that of your Prota structure 2024 downward. Okay, so 2025 has changed a bit. So here I'm going to, because I'm going to be having a steel member, so I'll also select combination for steel as well. So I will click on OK. You can see this is ultimate limit state. This is serviceability limit state. You can see ULC for ultimate limit state. You can see this is actually a new feature that has been added. So you can see you have for reinforced concrete, you have for steel as well. So serviceability limit state for reinforced concrete, serviceability limit state for steel. Okay, so that's basically what it means. So that is that. I will do my loading here. Okay, so I will come back to my slab here. At this level, I'll be using 150. My loading. So say these are rooms, for example. Let's say this is residential, for example. So just going to have this way. Oh, sorry. Cantilever. One. Oh. Let's see with one. So we use balcony. This is the. I'm just going to have. I'm going to have a cantilever this way. So let's say I have a cantilever this way. Okay, so we are good to go. I will generate this. Okay, so we are here. I can close this. So this is what we have. Let's go to the edit load, and let's add some wall load to this. You can see the good thing is with this 2025, it keeps track of the previous loading you have imputed in probably a previous job. So you can see this is still here. It has not actually changed, which is really good, I must say. Let me show you something you can really do quickly here. Let's say without selecting any particular member, you can simply go to your loading editor. If you come to your load editor, you can see it brings this particular level, because on the Prota structure I'm in level 1. So because I'm in level 1, you can see everything about level 1 is what is showing here. The self weight, the life load on the slab and all, you can see that is what is displaying here. If you zoom closely, you see triangular load, trapezoidal load and all of that. All right, so I will come to my wall load. I come to my wall load. Let's say at this level I'm just going to be having the normal wall load, that is your concrete walls, okay, for a 225 size of wall. So I'm going to be having this. By the time you just highlight, you can see that load is displaying here automatically. So I can simply just click on yes to save. You can see the wall load has been added. Sorry, I am in the wrong level. This is story 7. I don't want this load on story 7, so I can just undo that. Let me go to story 1 instead. So I can simply go to my load editor, and I can come to my wall load. Once I'm here, I will just highlight it. So this is story 1. You can see it's written boldly here, story 1, very important. And then I can just simply close and I will save. All right, so you can see the wall load has been added to this particular level. Very easy. It's way more easier to achieve. Okay, let's go down to, I will try to add some more columns here. So if you notice, you will see I don't have to really manually impute the cross section again all over, because it keeps record of the previous information I must have typed in, right? It keeps it. So let's go to story 3. Let's go to story 3. So we are in story 3 now. At story 3, let me have those columns here on story 3. So let's say I want to reduce the cross section of this column to be 300. 225, 300, or 230. Some of those blocks that we use, some of them are 230, some are 225. Most times they are 225, but when you add plus those finishes, it becomes 230. So I will do similarly here. I will add my beams. Now, this is where these coupling beams really come to play. You can use that to actually connect where you have two, like a shear wall. Okay, it's very important. This is where it really comes to play. This wall coupling beam is for walls. Okay, I can use that to I believe this feature is also very available in the 2024 version as well. So these entire beams that I have done, let me insert my slabs. I just want to be sure I did not really select any member that I'm not supposed to select. Right, I will generate this from here to 6. Right, I will click on OK. Alright, so I will click on close or close this. So you can see our model here. You can see what we have. So similarly, I'm going to my story 5. Sorry, at here I'll click on story 5. So I just want us to have a case where all of these are not on the same. There are cases where you can have where you don't have a flat land, and probably based on the architecture, you can see you are going to be having like a staggered kind of foundation. Okay, so let's have another column here. So we will have for this one, I'm going to make it a bit bigger. These columns here, I will make it a bit bigger because of properties. Okay, let us have our beams. So one thing I realized is with this higher version, you can actually bring about your model way more realistic compared to the previous versions. Your models can be closer to actually what is going to be on ground. So this one will just be a slab. Let's insert a slab. Then I have 150. Let's say I'm using a room. Let's say I have this as okay. So let's generate this to story 6. Right, good. So we're here. Um, so let's say at this, from this, let's say from this level upward, we are going to be having a glass, okay, so as to reduce the weight of the building itself, right? So we are going to be having a glass instead. So let's come to story 2. Story 2. I will go to loading, go to loading editor. So if you come to wall load, now if you click on this drop down menu, it gives you, there is a tempered glass panel, there is a laminated glass panel, there is a float glass panel, right? So you can actually pick based on the type of glass you want to use. So so whatever glass you want to use, you can just click on that particular glass, just highlight, and then you close and you save. So you can see it's becoming way more realistic, right? So similarly, we can just go to story 3 and do the same thing we did. I'll go to, you have to switch to the particular story first, and then go to your loading, go to loading editor, and come to your wall load. You can see the informations are still here. So if you look at this very well, you realize that the wall unit weight here is 0.13, the average load 0. You can see that the weight here is actually different from when you are using the when you are actually using the wall, which is the concrete wall, right? Yes. So similarly, we'll go to story 4. So but this is based on the architecture anyway, so it depends on how your architecture comes. But you as the engineer, it's your responsibility to make sure your design is safe and also economical. Let's go to the loading, let's go to the load editor. Wall load, and I will do the same thing here. Just highlight this, and I will try to close this. I'll save changes, and we are here. I will do the same thing. I'll go to story 5, and I will highlight, and sorry, I'm not supposed to highlight this. I'll go to the loading, load editor, okay. So we've come a very long way so far on this model, Like I told you, I'm also going to be adding some steel members. That is why I actually made this one 400. Is deliberate because I am going to be using some steel members around here. Okay. So I'm going to see you on the next episode of this Prota structure 2025 overview, because we'll try as much as possible to touch on every the for this. I would like to change this as well, so I can simply highlight this way. It's going to be easy for me to highlight, just like the way I did here, because of this wall load. But you can as well use filter. There is a filter too, I just remembered, but let's just continue this way. Alright, let me just do for this first. Oh, I think I'm selecting let me just do it story by story. I must have selected a member that is not a column, so it's giving me some. Oh, that was a mistake. I don't want to generate this report. Alright, let's do for story I think this should be story 6. So let's go to, this is another way to achieve this. I can just go to my story 6, go to, no, I can't do it that way. 1, 2, 3. So I'll pick it here. Okay, so we're here now. Right, so let's have like a space truss here. We can have a space truss, but let's insert a column at the story 7. Story 7. So let's have a column here, a steel column. I just want to assume everyone watching this is actually familiar with Prota structure. So probably maybe this particular new version may be new for you, but I want to assume you're all familiar with Prota structure. So that is why I'm not really going in details to explain some of these members, and I'm just picking some of these cross sections randomly. I'm not really doing a real life project. So okay, so let's come here and use our space truss. I know this is the moment most of us have been waiting for. Okay, so you can see your space truss here. You can see it reducing at the top. That is basically what it means. Reducing, increasing at the top. That is what it means here. So if you look at this from this preview here, you can see the number of this has dropped, has reduced at the top, right? So if I switch this to this, you can see that will also reduce. Now you can when we insert it on the model, it will reflect. If you look at this, this is label and section. This here, you can pick a particular steel section. You can see what we have here. It's like a hollow circular pipe, you know. So that's basically what we have here. But and you can see the loading here. So you can add the load, like the self weight. It has like a library for you to pick based on what kind of self weight you want to make use of. Okay, so you can pick from here You can also pick your dead load, whether it is a flat roof or a room or a terrace slash balcony or a lowered slab and all of that. Okay, so you can play around with this and pick the proper loading you want to make use of. So as for this, is it a general domestic use, residential, communal, and all of that? These are basically what you just need to actually pick. So you can come back to this geometry as well. If you look at this top surface, it's telling you based on this is planar, that is, it is flat. This is flat surface. So if you want the top surface to be curvy, it's going to be cylindrical, you pick this. If you want the bottom to also be cylindrical, you can also pick this. Okay, if you look at this, we have spherical, so this is going to be spherical. So I'm going to use the spherical for the top, and for the bottom I'm going to use cylindrical. Let's just play around with this, right? So however you want it, it is going to generate it for you automatically. All you need to do is just to pick, like a template. Just select, and once you click on OK, it will reflect on your model automatically. So it's loading right now, so let's allow it to finish loading. So you can see it's here, but it's not giving me exactly what I want, and I remember where the problem is coming from. I need to accept it. Well, I will show you how to go about that. So, but to re-edit this, let's just double click on it. It will bring us back to the property of this our space truss, so we can do change it to the way we want it. All right, so I will just double click on it to bring me back to so let's take it back. So we are here. So you can see everything I selected is here, but it didn't reflect there. There is a reason. I am supposed to click on generate. So if you don't click on generate, it won't. Even from the preview, you can see it has changed automatically. Even from the preview, you can see it has changed. So I can simply just click on OK, and automatically this one as well will change. All right, good. So we are here now. All right, so if you love this video already, please just give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. It's actually 100% free. Click on the bell icon so as for you to get a notification whenever I post videos. I post videos like this on a weekly basis, just to encourage as many that actually want to have a deeper insight with design. Let's try to do something else here. I just want to explore some of the great features that the 2025 has. Okay, so let's try to, here I'm going to add another grid at this story. I will offset to the right. So I will right click here and I will offset this axis. I will hold on shift F2 and I will type, let's say, another 5 meters here. So all these axes, I'm going to stretch them. Stretch. Where's the stretch? Stretch. One. Sorry. Okay. I think I've been highlighting with some other members, so that is why. So stretch. So this. Okay, so we're here. Let's have a castellated beam. We are just going to have a castellated beam. Just make it a little bit fancy. So let's have a steel beam. Steel beam. I will not bother much about the cross section of the beam. I'm just going to draw that beam. Okay, so we have this beam. I can double click on it to bring up the properties, like the property menu for me. Okay, so I am here now. As for this, this is a, you can see for the beam, you can see a new menu here has come up, has been added, which is called castellated. So I can specify, let's say, hexagonal shape. So space, you can play around with the spacing, whether however you want the spacing to be, just play around with it. It's very easy to do that. This beam, I'm going to make it curve. Let me make it curve. It will go up about 90 degrees, and then the apex, let's say 300 for example, or let's say 400 or 500. 500 is okay. And I will update. So let's see what we have here. After clicking on update, it's actually loading. All right, so you can see our castellated beam has been generated. So there is one very important tool that you can find in the Prota structure as from 2024 to 2025. It's very, very interesting. It makes your work way easier. So let me show you how to. You can actually copy with base point. You can also do a special copy. So if I click on this and I right click on it, let me zoom. So if I click on this beam, for example, and I right click on it, now you can see we have the copy tool, we have the special copy. Similarly, we have the move tool, we have the special move, or move special rather. Now this copy, if I click on this copy, for example, I can copy with a base point. Let's say if I want this to be my base point, just for example, if I click this and I click here, it's loading. The model is becoming very large, so you can see. So this is a very powerful tool, honestly. You may not appreciate it very well on this particular project, but when you are having a more complicated design, or a design where you need to have an equal interval and the same kind of member, and you have to manually insert them, you will appreciate it more. So you are copying with a base point. It's very, very important. Let me delete this. Let me delete this. So if you look at from here to here now, it's 5 meters. From here to here is 5 meters. And how many of these do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can do a copy special along. If this is x direction, this will be y direction, right? So I will right click on this and copy special, and this menu that pops up for me, I can go along my y direction. I want it to be at 5 meters interval, and I'm going to have 5 of it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll click on OK. So I will type 5 here. Sorry, I'll click on OK. So let's wait for it. Right, so we are here. You can see that has been able to copy very easy for me. So similarly, copy and move, they share a lot of similarities. The only difference is that with move, you have to move the original member to another different position. That's just the basic difference. So as far as you can achieve it for your copy, is similar with that of move as well. So you can see very interesting castellated beam. We can also use a move special, or we can use a copy special, which makes it very, very, very interesting if you ask me. So let's say here I can as well similarly have maybe another kind of let's say we have maybe like a steel member here. We can have a steel member. So let's have a steel member here as well. So let's do something. I'm going to delete these columns and insert a steel column. Okay, I'll delete these columns and insert a steel column. I will also delete the concrete beams as well, and insert a steel member, steel beam, so that I want us to have a composite slab here. It's deliberate. I want us to have a composite slab so we can explore some of these tools that are here that we've not really talked about. All right, I said we are going to delete these. I'm just not like this is not an existing project per se. I'm just trying to come up with some kind of model just for us to explore on the Prota Structure 2025 version. Okay, so let's go. It's becoming slow. It's becoming really slow because of the model is becoming a little bit heavier, so it's gradually becoming slow. So but then let's ride on. So I'm in story 7. I said I'm going to delete these beams. Okay, so let's insert like a steel column here. Insert here. Insert here. Oh no, I think I made a mistake there, so I will delete that. Well, it can still be there as a composite. Remember, that is, you are having a concrete and a steel, so you can still have it there as composite. So okay, let's come back to here, where you can see you can have a primary beam, you can have a secondary beam. Okay, so let's have some of these beams as our, let's say we have some of our beams here as primary beams. Sorry, let me draw this as well. Yes. Okay, so just going to have this here. Similarly, going to have this here. Right, so I've inserted all the beams I want as my primary beams. If you look at this, we have the secondary beams as well, right? We have the secondary beam here, right? So we can insert a secondary beam along, okay, let's say we have a secondary beam here. So let's just take it along this direction. I'll click on yes. Let me show you something something very interesting. Okay, it's loading. Let's allow it to load. Okay, let me show you this. Let's come here. If you look at this, we have frame groups, right? This frame group now can make our work way more easier. If you look at this here, we have generation options. What this means is going to remove the first member and the last member. So if we want to have a frame group for this beam to this particular beam. So let's see what we have. Now you can see it's giving up to the quantity of 6. We're having 6 quantities here. So you have like it says here, the first and the last has been removed. So we have 4. When you remove 2 from 6, you are going to have 4. You can play around with this to change this, right? You can play around with this to change this to however the number you want. So if you want 4 numbers where you remove the first and second, it will remain in 2. But similarly, you can also delete first number, delete last number, or make it normal. If you make it normal, that means it's going to provide 6 of this, exactly 6 of this for us here. It will not remove the first and the last. Is going to be 6 of it. Okay, so that is basically how to come about this frame group. So you can do similar for every other member. You know, we are going to be having a composite slab. So so I will just repeat the same for all of them. The system is getting slow, so I wouldn't want to. All right, so I've been able to achieve that. So at this point, let's say I want to insert, you know, we have been able to demonstrate the primary, the secondary beam. We've been able to also demonstrate the frame group. We can as well similarly just insert our composite slab. I have demonstrated all this also in the previous version, which is the version 2024. So we can insert using 2 diagonal points, or we can insert using endpoint. So the endpoint means when you have an irregular shape, you can easily use this to insert that. So but if I click this point, sorry, it's not what I want. You can see this gives you like a rectangular. So this is way more suitable where you have a rectangular shape or a square shape. So for the other endpoint is where you have an irregular panel. Okay, so you can see for this also, you can type in the live load construction stage. This is the dead load. This also gives you a room to select whether it's a terrace, balcony. This gives you the room to also select. You know, it has all the classification of buildings here as well. So is it a hospital ward, toilet ward, residential, balcony, guest house, or a club, theater, banking hall, factory, you know. So whatever class of building, whatever you are designing for, you can simply just select that. So let's say this is going to be for I don't know. Okay, just pick anyone. This is based on your design. Actually, just don't pick randomly without knowing what you are picking. So make sure you are picking based on your design. So if it's a hospital you are designing, you know, you are going to pick hospital. If it is a church, you pick. If it is a mosque, and all that, you understand. So you can just select your loading there and boom, you are here. Okay, so we have been able to insert our slab. So this is actually a composite slab. So let's say we have this. Okay, all right, so let's come back here and try to demonstrate something interesting here as well. um let's look at this pull line. You can see for the pull line as well, we can insert using two members, insert using multiple members, right? So what that means is that you can select multiple members to insert your pull line. So I can select multiple members. So it's actually loading. Oh my god. So as the name implies, you insert using multiple members, right? Yes. So I'll hold on control to select multiple members, for example. I don't think this feature is available in the previous version, but I will check. That gives you the liberty to insert using multiple members. So I don't think it's available in the previous version. Maybe, just maybe 2024 may have it. I will have to check. So so we have been able to select multiple members on our model. Let me be sure if that tool is still active. Pull line. Okay, let's just insert it the normal way. Now if you look at this, I was not able to insert using multiple members. I will have to explore on that. If you look at this very well, you will realize that okay, I can turn off the sag rod and all that. This is not basically what I want to talk about. When it comes to the cladding, that is where I will show you basically something new that has been really added there. So but for this, I'm just going to simply accept it as it is and click on OK. I can do similarly for the other part of this, or I would have just selected this and select the last one just to make it easy for us. So that is what I will do now. Okay, let's just do it this way so we could make it easier for us. For line, I will select this and select the last one. Boom. Then we are here. Okay, so I'll click on OK, and then All right, let's add some cladding to this. Let's come to modeling, click on cladding, select this, and good. This is basically where I'm talking about. You can see here it allows you to add the load. You don't have to go to the loading editor. So from here you can add the load. So you can either type in manually or select what kind of load you are adding to this. So this is 3 ribs roof panel 40 mm, you know. So the roof panel, the thickness of that panel, basically whatever you are actually going to be using here, you just click on it, automatically it comes up. Is it a flat roof, is it a room, a terrace, a lower slab, and all of that. Similarly, you select general, domestic use, whatever use. So if it falls along any of these classes, you pick any of them and you select. So whatever we do here is going to be basically what you see on the loading editor as well. So you don't really have to stress on going to your loading editor to add your loading on your cladding anymore. So Prota structure has made it way more easier now to achieve that. So if you come here, you go to your loading and you go to your loading editor, you will be able to find that loading on your cladding. So you can see the loading on your cladding. You can see it. You can see that loading on the cladding that we added is there. So I will just close this. So this is it. We have been able to do, to a large extent, explore on some of the great improvement that has been done on Prota structure 2025, as you can see for yourself. So let's add a gut here and let's do some little brazing so that we can analyze this and take it to our Prota still, so we can proceed there for us to see this episode. Let's do, let me use I will use guards for this and I will brace some parts. Okay, let's go into it. So let's come to our model, our brace, sorry, our guards. Let's use our guards. I will select these and select this. So it brings us here. Similarly, just like your pull line, you can turn off the sag rod, right? So I want to assume everyone watching this is a bit familiar, is familiar with Prota structure. So like I said in previous episode, we are just exploring the Prota structure 2025 version, just for us to see what is really new in this particular version. Okay. So similarly, I will use the GATS connection here. GATS here rather, not a connection. So similarly, add this, click OK. So let's do some bracing here. Let's see if we can brace this. Brace, click, and we click OK. All right. I was able to just do some other few bracing just to save us time. Right. So this is our model we have been able to achieve from Prota structure 2025. We can as well brace this this to this. We can brace it, so we can brace these beams as well here. You know, they are very important too as well. So if you use the brace, I just want to assume we all know how to make use of brace. Whoever is watching this video already has some little knowledge of Prota structure 20 Prota structure actually. So it doesn't matter the version. I'm assuming you have a little knowledge of Prota structure, at least maybe from 2021. If you are using 2018, it's still very outdated at this time. I will advise you to at least minimum 2022, at least 2022 is very okay for you. 2021 is still way better than for you to be using 2018 in 2024. You can see there are a lot of features that have been added in Prota structure, so you are most likely going to struggle. I'm sure the interface has changed from 2021. The interface of Prota structure changed. So if you are using 2018, you realize that the 2021 interface has changed entirely. So you can see a lot of features have been added in the Prota structure. Now we are in 2025, which is the latest version of the Prota structure. I'm sure they are probably working on another newer version. I don't know when they are going to release it, but I'm sure they are working on another version. So it's important that you update yourself. As you can see, what you can achieve with the 2025 is way more better, way far more better than what you can achieve with 2022 or 2020, even 2024. But if you are using 2024, you are still at least up to date to an extent. But 2025 is the best you can get for now, which is the latest version. If you can get the 2025, then you are doing yourself a very great thing, because as you can see what I can achieve with my 2025, you can achieve it with 2024. That's just the truth. What I can achieve with 2025, you can achieve it with 2024, most especially if you are into more of steel designs. You can see a lot of features have been added in the 2025. So it's important that you update yourself. Okay, so we have been able to brace these. We have been able to add our polar. We've been able to add our cladding, and on the loading on our cladding, we've been able to do the composite slabs. we've been able to demonstrate the primary, secondary beam, and then the group frames in our Prota structure 2025. Okay, so on this floor you can see there are no low wall load on this floor. We can add those wall loads. We don't need to add those wall load along here, although we can add it. So let's just say we have a wall load at the story 7, but their heights are not going to. As for this is just we demonstrating, although this level and this level are not the same, because this is the starting point of this particular story. Like we said, you are not having a flat terrain, so this is the starting point. This is like the ground floor for this is the ground floor for this, so this is now the ground floor for this one. So it's a staggered kind of foundation because of the terrain, assuming the terrain is like this. So basically yeah, let me just insert wall load, but it's not going to be on everywhere, right? We are not going to have a wall load here along here. We are not going to have a wall load along here. So for this, is going to be really manual to achieve. So but then you can highlight the portion where you want to add your loading for, but simply by selecting, you can select the specific beams you want to add a wall load for. You can select specific beams. So all you need to do is just to manually pick them and go to your loading. So you have to pick those walls manually. So let's just say we are only going to be having, damn, this is not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be on story 6. I'm very sorry. I actually selected the wrong beams. So I'm going to select them and then I'll continue from there. Okay, what I can do to make this way easier for me is I can just simply go to the loading editor. I'm in story 6, so automatically it will bring me to story 6 at the loading editor. Like you can see, this is story 6, so I can simply rotate the model and just highlight just that portion where I want to insert my load. So this is another way. And wall load automatically only goes to the beam, not the slab, not the column. Okay, so I can just highlight the portion I want to actually insert this loading to. So you can see the loading has been inserted on only the highlighted portion. So I can close this and save. So I'm going to have my wall load along just that portion where I want my wall load to be. Okay, so you can see there is no wall load here, and that's very interesting. This is basically how I want this to be. So so we are here. We have been able to achieve our model to an extent, but this wall load, you can create opening, you can add opening to it, but like I said, this I'm just assuming everyone already has a little knowledge of Prota structure. So I'm sure some of the tools I'm using, you are familiar with some of them. So if that is correct, I can then go to analysis so that I can analyze my model. So for us to see if there be any change around here or is still the same with the previous version. If you look at this, we can go to our material. One of the most obvious changes that I realized, although not just with 2025 but with 2024 as well, so it's from the 2024 there they have separated this grade of concrete. You know, in the previous version it is always 20 slash 25, 25 slash 30, 30 slash 35, like that. So this one there is a separation, so I can apply on all. So I'm picking grade 25 for my concrete, for example, and then for my steel grade I can also use another steel grade. However, you can see there's also a separation here. So if I'm using the steel grade, I will apply this. For my reinforcement, although there is no much difference, it's the same with the previous one, but for my column I can decide to pick however the size of reinforcement I want to use. So I'm going to pick 20, I'm going to pick 16, all right, sorry, I'll use 25, 20, 16. Say for my wall, same thing. You have to be very careful with the reinforcement you select. For this I will use uncheck this other reinforcement. Let me use 16 and 20. For my slab I'm just going to use 12. And then for my footing I'm going to pick 16 and 20. For my links I'm going to be using 10. Okay, so I'll just click on OK, and I will click on OK, and I will click on OK. Well, you can see there is no much significant difference around that area, right? No much significance different, but I think this one has some little change around this axis. I'm not really going to be talking about the wind load. I'm going to do something more extensive on wind loading as we progress, but for now I will just skip this part because I want to really talk extensively on wind load separately on its own. So but let's just assume everything is okay. Building model check is just like the previous one. I'm sure you already know how to use your building model check to check your modeling. You can have some overlapping and all that. So that is one of the essence of building model check, just for you to check your model and see if your model is really in order. It's very important to do your building model check, but this is not a new feature in Prota structure. It has been there for long, so there is nothing really new about this. So I'm just going to analyze it, but you can load log editor to see where that error is coming from. This beam and this beam have repeating labels. Yeah, this I think this is very easy to solve. I can simply just come to, let's close this first, come to review, so I can relabel members. Let me relabel. This relabel member is very important. It's very important. As you can see, when you are dealing with a very large model, you can't really have that time to start checking your label, arranging them manually. So you relabel, your Prota structure will do that for you automatically. Prota is really a very powerful software. You can delete unused axes. For a very large model like this, you can have axes that are not used. As you can see, it was able to detect up to 8 different axes that are not in use in the model. So when you come back to here again, you can fix the almost orthogonal axis, purge section and all that. So you can, but we've not done our design to see our design status yet. We've not done design, so we'll have to design and then to check that. Okay, so there is another very important tool that I always like to talk about, which is really stressful to achieve. You can see set all slab types automatically. This is very important. You know, this tells you, if you look at this panel, for example, this is one edge discontinuous while it is continuous at 3 edge. So this is 3 edge discontinuous, 1 edge, 3 edge continuous, 1 edge discontinuous, 3 edge continuous. Basically, however you want to define it, but this is it. So it's continuous here, continuous here, continuous here. So this is a lot of work. If you want to do this manually, selecting it from the software is a lot of stress. So you can see, if you look at this is based on the software, it's saying this is type 1. You can see this is telling us this is type 1, and this is definitely not type 1. This is not type 1. This is more like this one or this one, right? Because you have 3 edges that are continuous, you have 1 edge discontinuous. So this is very important to do. So you can do an automatic set slab. So it's going to set all the slab type automatically exactly how it should be. So I will click on apply to selected slab only, no. Apply to all the slab in the story, apply to all slabs in the model. This is what I want to use, because all my slabs in the model are not in their correct types. So I will do this and I will click on OK. This is very important to always do in your model before you generate your design, because this affects your reinforcement. Okay, this is very important in placing your reinforcement. So if I click on this, if I double click on that panel to check again, good, you can see this is slab type 3. Slab type 3. So if you check for any of this is also going to be slab type 3. This is also going to, for this one, this is going to be an internal panel. So it's continuous in all edges. Good. So it's correct. So this makes your work way more easier. For a very large project, it's difficult to really achieve that one by one. So we have been able to do that. I will come back to my building analysis. I just want this to be as very brief as possible. I want to assume that problem has been solved. I will just click on building analysis and then to analyze my model. because you cannot do a foundation design without analyzing, without doing your building analysis. Without building analysis, you can't actually. It's very important you check. If you check only the column, for example, it's going to design only the column, while the beams and every other member will not be designed. That's basically what it means. So, and this is a concrete column, this is a steel, these are for steel members. So if I uncheck this now, that means it's not going to design these composite members that I did, because composite means a combination of both concrete and steel, or any two different materials. You know, we can have a composite pavement, you know, when you are designing maybe for road design and whatever, you know, you can have composite. It's not just on building, right? So I will check that and I will click on building analysis. So let's just wait for it to analyze. All right, so the analysis is ready. I will just close this. Okay, so we are here. Let's come to our story 0. Let's see what we have. Good. You can see the only thing I'm seeing here is just this ones here. As for this ones, they are not showing down here. Okay, so all we need to do is just to select them, and before then, sorry, let's come to looking for this tool called supports. All right, so if you come to the modeling tab, you come here, you see support types. So this first one means is fixed, this is hinge, this is roller. So for fixed supports, is restrained along the X direction, Y direction, Z direction. The rotation is also, all of them, everything is restrained. So I will click on OK. So I've added that. I can just highlight all my columns. Make sure you position your cursor very well. Position your model very well so that you can highlight. This is not what I want to do, please. So I can highlight this by holding on Control. So I can go to the properties of these columns and come under the supports, click on this. It looks like a pencil. Okay, and select. Okay, I think the support has not been added. Sorry, let me close this and come to my modeling type of support. Sorry, I'm supposed to click on this plus sign to add it, so it has been added now. I will come to the properties of these columns and come to support, click on this pencil, click on this drop down, click on support and click on OK, and then I will click on close. So if you look at this very well, you will realize this is showing you that we have a fixed support now on all of this. So you can see on the foundation layout, everything is being displayed. So we have everything showing here now. So all we will do now, we can design our footing. Okay, so for that, we are going to continue in the next episode. I will take you through that process. I will see you in the next episode.